2 weeks ago, the Americans put up a record-high 20 runs in a Mercy Rule victory. Today, they travel east for a rematch against that same squad. Here on the Americans Baseball Network.
That the ace of the Giant pitching staff that season was Niagara Falls native Sal Magley. A league low 2.71 earned run.
Shows now to the state history of the Niagara Falls.
61-61.
And where do you play?
We play right at Sal Magley, gorgeous stadium.
Set the 1-0 to Boyle. Is hammered to right field.
Go, baby, go, baby, go.
Come here,
Welcome back into McDonough Park. It's the Americans and Red Wings here on the Americans Baseball Network. We'll have baseball any moment. My apologies for any technical difficulties we may have today. Very hot one outside, and it is affecting the pace of the broadcast, but we're going to try our best to power through here. And we will start things off here today with a look at the PGCBL standings in just a moment. Auburn Doubledays still in first place at 11-5-1. Elmira Pioneers right behind them at 11-6, as well as the Americans now tied for that second spot. Muck Dogs at 12-7, also a half game out. Pilots 8-7-1, a drop right there. They're out of the playoff picture. Tarpscones 9-9. And the Red Wings and Ironbacks still in the basement, but the Red Wings surpassing Niagara, sweeping a doubleheader over the Pilots yesterday. So the Geneva Red Wings lineup being introduced right now, but here on the broadcast, we'll give you a look at the Americans lineup in just a moment. But first, a break for the national anthem. We'll be right back. For that second spot, Muck Dogs at 12-7.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the pitcher's mound. Joining us tonight is Kaysen, who just turned 11 on Monday. He's here with family and friends and will be throwing out the first pitch. Let's all give Kaysen a big round of applause.
Welcome back to Americans Baseball right here on our live stream. Take on these Americans. So the Niagara Falls Americans, will give you a look at their lineup. They'll be batting first here in Geneva. Grant Moore going to be leading off, playing center field. Evan Corrin right batting second. Ethan Madison, the extra hitter, will bat third. Paul Delanto shifting to catcher and batting cleanup. Dalton Harper will switch with him. DH bat fifth. Ian Wang, the second baseman, batting sixth. Graydon Miller at first base, batting seventh. Brady Bowles back at third, batting eighth. Alan Ramos, the shortstop, batting ninth. And then the lineup rounded out by Tommy Mathay in left field. So Grant Moore will lead things off here for Niagara Falls. In just a moment. My apologies for the continued technical issues here, but Grant Moore will be kicking things off for the Americans here against Geneva. Very sunny Wednesday afternoon. It is strike one on Grant Moore. Moore, the 472 hitter, 1149 OPS, with the 0-1 count early from McDonough Park. Here's the 0-1. Goes outside to even things up. Up and away. It's ones on the count. And Moore continuing to battle here. That's in there for strike two. Grant Moore leads the entire PGCBL in batting average by a narrow margin. Quick timeout before the 1-2 pitch. And that'll be a fly ball into center field. Making the catch is Briggs for out number one. So the catch by Briggs and Moore. Lost his hit streak last night, but a 12-game on-base streak. He's really settled into this number two spot. He'll be back in right field tonight, where he's played some excellent defense. That's fouled off for strike one. Evan Core. The 0-1 with one down. In there, and Dawson Thomas is one strike away from retiring his second batter of the night. Thomas has been a staple in this Red Wings rotation this season. Swing and a miss. Evan Core is the first strikeout victim of the day for Dawson Thomas. Zane Barron behind the dish, doing a good job catching Thomas thus far. And Ethan Madison will be next. Madison has been in the lineup consecutive days. He's a .320 hitter. 1-0 on him with 2 down. Madison takes an inside ball. It's 2-0. Ethan Madison. Swings and misses, but still the count in his favor. Madison comes from Trevecca Nazarene University. Division II hitter. Takes ball 3 upstairs. Madison, one of 2 Americans to hit a home run on the season in the 3 and 4 spots today. The pitch is a high fly ball into left field, and coming in to make the catch is Jack Turner for out number 3. That'll do it for the top of the first. We'll be right back as the Red Wings come up to bat to face Luke Blandino, the American starting pitcher. We'll be right back. Back for the bottom of the first inning, and it'll be Luke Blandino on the bump for the Americans. Blandino is 1-0 with a 3 ERA. This will be his 4th start of the season. He has 14 strikeouts. In the order by Michael Ucci, Zane Barron, Dylan Briggs, Elijah Benton, Casey Berkeroff, Jack Turner, and Jaden Madrid. Zach Banks has been among the standouts for these Red Wings thus far. .423 hitter with an 1135 OPS, 1 homer, 11 RBIs. And Banks, among those players that followed head coach Thomas to the Geneva Red Wings from last year to this year. Zach Banks comes from Embry-Riddle University. Did not play there this past year. Now the rising sophomore there. And here he is. Zach Banks Had 29 stolen bases last year in the NYCBL. And it's just been an all-around standout for these Red Wings. Among the bright spots in what's been a slow start to the season for Geneva. That is in the dirt for ball one. Blandino's first pitch. Right below Banks. Not in swinging territory for him. Blandino sets for the 1-0 and now delivers. Banks the potential walk here with the count in his favor. 1 homer and 11 RBIs. He's the only Red Wing to hit a home run. It's 11 RBIs, matching his number 11, funny enough. Blandino, the 2-0, sends it outside over that righty batter's box. We'll hope to avoid the 4-pitch walk. He's seen this Geneva team before, did very well in his first start against them. Looking to do the same the second time around. We'll see if Banks swings here on the 3-0. No, he will take an outside strike one. Right over the edge to the righty batter's box. Banks will not have the green light on the 3-0. Near the batting cages here at McDonough Park. Count is now full for Luke Blandino on the first batter faced of the day. Banks looking to keep his hot start to the season going, as is Blandino. Here's the pitch. That's a line drive into right field. Core chasing it down, but he will make the grab. It came close to the wall, but out number 1 for Geneva. That was a close call. Evan Core tracking that down successfully. Took some speed. Took some baseball IQ, but he got there. Chase Fogg, the shortstop, right-handed hitter, to face Blandino with Delanto behind the plate. First pitch, swing and a miss for strike one. That's 1 down and 1 strike on Chase Fogg. Fogg 136 with a .602 OPS. That'll be called a strike on the upstairs part of the zone. So now Blandino with the 0-2 count on his batter. 1 strike away from out number 2. Blandino, the 0-2 pitch is lined up the middle. Grant Moore won't have to move much for out number 2. Moore and Core respectively catching the first 2 flyouts of the day to retire the first 2 Red Wings. Have contributed on both offense and defense in this first inning. They're the 1-2 hitters as well. And Aiken Santana, the 3 hitter for the Red Wings, typically the 3rd baseman here in Geneva, shifting over to first for tonight. .395 hitter, .855 OPS. That'll near the dirt for ball 1. Still scoreless here from McDonough Park. The Americans retired early here by Dawson Thomas. It's a low ball 2. Aiken Santana. The 2-0 is going to be out number 2 at first base on the 6-3, out number 3 rather. We'll head to the top of the second after the break. We'll be right back. Back for the top of the second inning, and unfortunately, due to some technical difficulties, we are switching this broadcast over to audio. The Americans brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards in this second inning. Great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. And it is still scoreless and hitless through the first inning of action. Back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings in the top and bottom of the inning respectively. And Paul Delanto will kick things off for the Americans here in the second. For the Red Wings, it'll be Michael Ucci, the extra hitter, up next when we come back for the bottom of the second. But for the time being, the Americans will have Delanto, Harper, and Wang ready to go to kick off the second. Paul Delanto, 267 hitter, 804 OPS, has homered and driven in 16 runs. That leads the team. Delanto going to drive that foul down the first base line for strike one. Delanto, one of two Americans to hit a home run, also leading the team in RBIs, comes from Division I Stony Brook. And that'll be a chopper to the third baseman in time for out number one at first. And it's one down in this top of the second. It'll be Dalton Harper up next. Harper. On the year, batting .250 with a 763 OPS. First pitch will go inside near the hands of Harper for ball one. Harper's bat has been hot of late, an especially big day on Saturday in Niagara, Canada. And a bit of a motion towards a swing, but it'll go inside for ball two. Harper not close to going around there. And for those of you just tuning in, we have switched to audio only here on the Americans Baseball Network due to some camera lag and lack of focus. But it's 2-1 to Dalton Harper. Harper from SUNY Niagara has caught a number of games for Matt Barr. Will be making his Americans debut on the 4th of July. Check swing. They will say he did not go around. It's ball three on Harper. Dawson Thomas, in his second inning of work, has one down with nobody on here in the top of the second. Dalton Harper looking for a walk. He's had a lot of them this season. Pitch from Thomas is going to be Lined foul. Umps loud and clear about that one. It's a full count. The Americans looking to get the first base runner on of the day in the form of Harper. Harper, the second-year American. 17 RBIs his first year with the team. At 4 this year. Similar averages to last season right now, but that'll go inside. But ball 4 for Dalton Harper. Came close to hitting him, but regardless of the call, he's on first base. And Ian Huang up next. 269 hitter, 809 OPS. Had a huge 4-for-5 day in his season debut against the Muck Dogs. Since then, he's hung in there, but not quite the same numbers. Pitch from Dawson Thomas. Wang with the 1-0 count. And a runner on in the form of Dalton Harper. Takes an outside ball 2. Wang, the switch hitter, batting from the left side today to face the right-handed Dawson Thomas. Americans in their blue road jerseys, the Red Wings wearing all whites here at home. It's an outside ball 3, so 3 consecutive balls to Huang, and a walk would make it 2 ducks on the pond for Graydon Miller. Not a guy you want to mess with. Second-year veteran, batting .286 this year. Can certainly do some damage. That'll get in there on the outside corner for strike 1. Zane Barron, the catcher, having to shift his glove just a little bit. Huang with the count in his favor. Harper has a lead at first base. Third baseman Jada Madrid playing in on Huang. And now Harper takes off and will steal, but it's a walk anyways. So Graydon Miller up next. Graydon, 286 hitter, 785 OPS, and 11 RBIs. Third highest on the team behind Grant Moore and Paul Delanto. So he's established himself as one of the biggest hitters in the clutch. He's had a pair of extra base hits as well. A swing and miss for strike 1. And Miller has 2 runners on in the form of Harper and Huang. Both have a lead at their respective bases. Harper on second and Huang right behind him. Threat for a double steal right here with the 0-1 count. And second baseman Casey Burkroff is in motion. The check on first base, and it's close, but Huang will slide in safely. So Barron trying to gun Huang out on ball 1, but no success there. 1s across the board on Graydon Miller. Product of Drury University, one of 2 second-year Americans in today's lineup. Gavin Boyle, another second-year hitter in the roster, but that'll be popped up towards first base, foul territory. Aiken Santana will make the grab for out number 2. So Miller, the second retired in this top of the second inning. Brady Bowles, the last hope to drive in Dalton Harper at second base. the first runner in scoring position all day for either team. Both teams sent their opponents down 1-2-3 in the first inning. Bowles, the right-hander, on 931 OPS, batting .292. He's taken a lot of walks, had a lot of extra bases. An all-around strong hitter for these Americans, the product of Panola, down 0-1. Wang and Harper have a lead again, but now it's Bowles up to the plate. The pitch will get in there on the inside part of the zone to make it 0-2 to Brady Bowles. Brady looking to climb out of this hole. He's certainly shown he's capable. Runners with a lead on both bases. And it's low for ball one. So 1-2 on Bowles. Wang and Harper with bigger and bigger leads. Thomas has yet to try for the pickoff on this at bat, and it's a swing and a miss for strike three on Bowles. We'll head to the bottom of the second. The Americans strand two. It's still scoreless. We'll be right back. Back for the bottom of the second here on the Americans Baseball Network. We are audio only here due to some technical difficulties, both in terms of camera view and internet. But this bottom of the second inning is sponsored by Bully Hill Vineyards. And this season, you can get the latest Americans gear at any home game. The Americans will be back home tomorrow for $2 beer night against the Ironbacks. That'll be first pitch at 6:30. And Michael Lucci stepping in for the Red Wings. He'll be followed up by Zane Barron and Dylan Briggs in this bottom of the second inning. Top of the inning ended on a Brady Bowles strikeout. Rare for him. He's worked a lot of 0-2 counts, not able to climb out of that one, but it's ball one to the batter, Uchi. Michael Uchi on the year, batting .222 with a .795 OPS. No homers or RBIs. He has the 1-0 count right now. He fouls one off right behind home plate to even up the count. Blandino with some hard contact, but just the wrong direction. Blandino sets for the 1-1, now delivers. And that'll be grounded. Picked up by Bowles at third. He's headed towards first. The throw in time for out number one. So one down for the Red Wings as Zane Barron, the catcher, steps in. Has shared the position this year with several players, including Colin Clark, Tyler Skaggs, and Michael Ucci, but Barron behind the dish tonight with Ucci right before him in the lineup as the extra hitter. 211 hitter, 559 OPS. Goes to Hillsborough Community College. Has fared a little bit better here in the PGCBL than he did there. And that's going to be a high chopper. Picked up by Ramos. Sent to first for out number two. It's back-to-back groundouts for the Americans in this bottom of the second. Dylan Briggs will bat next. The center fielder batting 136 with a 432 OPS. Comes from Division III Montclair State. Played in 20 games over there, but started just 3. He's seen more time here for these Red Wings. And that'll bounce in the dirt for ball one. A clear bounce right there on the pitch from Blandino. Right in front of home plate. Dylan Briggs, his first time facing these Americans. Was not in the lineup 2 weeks ago when the Americans mercied the Red Wings 20-3. Been a much lower scoring start to this one. That's a low outside ball two. Briggs with the bases empty and 2 down. The last hope to avoid a 1-2-3. Bottom of the second. Takes one way inside, has to dodge. And right now, the bigger question is whether Blandino can avoid walking Briggs with 3 balls on the count. We'll see what he has in store for Briggs here. And that'll be a fastball that misses. It's ball 4. The first base runner on. All day for Geneva. And Elijah Benton up next, a two-way player in right field today. Pitched most recently on the 21st at Auburn as a hitter. His average and OPS both below 100. Takes the ball in the dirt. The commit to Maryland Eastern Shore. That's a Division I school. Looking to prove his potential headed in there. Has a 1-0 count from Blandino. With Briggs on first base, he's got a lead after the walk. It's been 5 consecutive balls from Blandino, and that'll be a strike to break up the streak. Low inside corner makes it 1-1 with 2 down and 1 on. Blandino sets for the 1-1. Delivers to the two-way player Benton, a check swing, but clearly did not go around there. It's ball 2. So the 2-1 count on Benton. Looking to add to his hit total. It's been pretty low thus far. And there's a foul ball to even things up. It's 2s across the board. Benton. An 048 hitter. 1 strike away from this inning being over. Luke Blandino looks to end it right here. And he delivers on the 2-2 pitch. It's outside to fill things up. Full count, 2 outs, runner on first. Blandino. A big moment for him, arguably his biggest all game. What is first base runner on in the form of Briggs now? Trying to keep it clean here in this bottom of the second. Here's the payoff pitch. It's a soft dribbler picked up by Delanto, and it is Gonna hit Briggs. Or rather, Benton. So that'll go in as an error. And it's runners on the corners. Casey Burkroff up for the first time today. Batting 111 with a 311 OPS. Just 6 at-bats over at Herkimer this year. 2 for 6 in those. Also had 4 RBIs. Elijah Benton getting checked on by some Geneva staff, but seems he will be all right. And Delanto returning behind the plate for Burkroff. It was up to bat with the runners on the corners. Blandino will actually go down as a hit for him. So the first hit allowed by either team today. That'll be strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. It's 0-1 to Burkroff, who's at second base today. Played short the last time the Americans and Red Wings faced off. And after appeal, there's going to be a balk. Benton to third, and Briggs coming in to score. The Red Wings are up 1-0. It's their first lead over the Americans this season. That's fouled off behind the plate. Now an 0-2 count. Blandino has been looking for this third out for a while now. Can he get it against Burkroff, the lefty? Opposite-handed matchup. With now a runner on third and Benton. Briggs just came around to score. The pitch is going to be driven up the middle. Picked up by Ramos at short. Sent to first in time for out number 3. And the Americans give up a run here in the bottom of the second. They'll be up with Alan Ramos to kick things off in the top of the third. We'll be right back. Back for the top of the third. The Red Wings now lead 1-0 over these Americans. It's their first lead over Niagara Falls this season. It'll be Alan Ramos, Tommy Mathey, and Grant Moore for the Americans here in the top of the third inning. Red Wings with 1 hit, 1 run on the board. Looking for their 3rd win in a row after sweeping the Pilots in a doubleheader yesterday. Alan Ramos batting 150 with a 496 OPS, 2 RBIs. Just made the play for the ground out. That's a line drive into right field. It'll be caught by Benton for out number 1. So Ramos 1 pitch, and he's down. It was a nicely hit ball, but Benton able to track it down successfully for the out. Tommy Mathay, his first start in a good bit, had a brief bereavement then came in to pinch hit for Gavin Boyle on Sunday against Batavia. That was his last appearance. It'll be in there on the outside part of the plate for strike one. A close call, but it'll go in favor of Thomas and the Red Wings here to put the count in Thomas's favor. And same spot, strike two. Tommy Mathay has not bit at the pitch yet, knowing this strike zone. Might want to consider swinging at that one. But an 0-2 count on him. No wiggle room here. We'll see what Thomas has in store for Tommy Mathay. Pitch is lined into left center field for the base hit. Tommy Mathay, the first hit of the day for the Americans. Takes first base with one down. Grant Moore up to bat now, looking to expand on his hit streak that currently is spanning 15 games. Every single game he's started, he's had a hit. Missed just 2 games this season with a minor knee ailment. Tommy Mathay has the lead at first base for Moore. And that'll get in there. Same spot, strike one, but Tommy Mathay with ease going to take second base. It'll be a passed ball. And now Mathay on second with the 0-1 count. Grant Moore up for the second time today. 0 for 1 on the day. Mathay, bigger and bigger lead at second. He's taunting Thomas, and that's going to be too far outside to be considered for a strike call. It's 1-1 to make it ones across the board on Moore. Moore has a pair of doubles, a pair of triples on the season. An extra base hit would be huge here to knock in the runner in scoring position. Mathay, game of chicken at second base as it's fouled off by Grant Moore for strike two. Grant Moore has had plenty of 2-strike counts and very few strikeouts this season, so he's been in these situations before. Just 4 strikeouts to 14 walks on the year. Dawson Thomas with the count in his favor and 1 down. After a brief timeout, we'll set for the 1-2. Moore, the Ohio native, his dad was visiting the last week and a half, went to a lot of Americans games. And it's 1-2. Thomas checking on his runner. Mathay now delivering outside. Count is even just like that. Grant Moore battling with this 2-strike count. His second time up today. And if he gets on base, a threat to steal as well. 17 stolen bases on the year. And that'll be popped up foul territory down the third base line. Grant Moore battling here. Moore with the runner on second, will drive it up the middle, and that is going to be just dropping out in center field. Briggs was very close to making the grab, but it drops right in front of him on the bloop single. Grant Moore's hit streak increases to 16 games as he drives in Tommy Mathay to tie the game at 1. Evan Core up next. There's been 2 hits allowed in this inning. The first 2 by Thomas. Pickoff attempt at first is unsuccessful as Evan Core comes up to bat. Core 0 for 1 today. And he is going to send that foul for strike 1. Grant Moore had taken off, but the foul ball, he's going to have to go back. A trio of steals last night. Pickoff attempt unsuccessful at first base. Moore has a big lead, and Evan Core with the 0-1 count. Is hoping that Moore can get into scoring position. It'll give Core an RBI chance here on this at-bat. A chance to increase his on-base streak. The line drive into right field will be caught for out number 2 by Benton. Elijah Benton's been busy this inning. Grant Moore holding up at first. Now 2 down. Ethan Madison will be next, the extra hitter. 320 average, 873 OPS headed into the game. Now tonight is 0 for 1. Madison, the rising sophomore, Trifecta Nazarene, didn't play there his first year, but this summer here in Niagara Falls, definitely a good case for that team to play him when he comes back. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Ethan Madison, notorious for his big swings, and it's certainly paid off for his batting average as well as a home run over at Dietrich Park on the 10th of June. Grant Moore hurrying back to first base as Thomas looks back at him briefly. Thomas has eagle eyes on Grant Moore, but he's taking a bigger lead. He takes off. And it'll be fouled off, so Grant Moore going to have to go all the way back. This is the 0-2 count. Madison cannot afford a mistake here. The inning would be over. Looking to advance Grant Moore on first base and take the lead back for the Americans after the 1-0 deficit early. It's a ground ball picked up at short by Fogg, sent to first for out number 3. So Ethan Madison 0 for 2 on the day. We'll send it to the bottom of the 3rd inning after this. Back for the bottom of the 3rd, and a reminder that this 3rd inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico of Buffalo, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. At every Americans home game, if the Americans score, you score. 3 runs equals a free McCafe Frappe for all fans. So the Americans drove in the first run of their day in that inning. The Grant Moore single knocked in Tommy Mathay, but Moore stranded at first base, and it'll be Jack Turner to kick things off for the Red Wings in this bottom of the third. Blandino charged with an earned run in the bottom of the second. The Red Wings took the early 1-0 lead, but the Americans have now tied it. And the left fielder, Turner, will be Blandino's first customer in this inning, followed by Jaden Madrid and Zach Banks. Banks led off the day with a flyout. But Jack Turner up first. He's batting .211 with a .570 OPS. Two-way player, also has a .568 ERA as a pitcher. Among the better ERAs for these Red Wings, some of these Geneva pitchers have been rocked at times. It's a big cut and miss for strike one by Turner. Pretty strong start at the plate to the year for Turner, but slowed down a bit since. At Averett University, below the Mendoza line. But a big frame, stands at 6'6", 210 pounds. Another big cut and miss. And Blandino, one strike away from his first punch out of the day. Blandino, second start against these Red Wings, and it's off to another pretty smooth start, but a foul tip to keep Turner alive in the at-bat. Hails from Haddon Heights, New Jersey. Has been a regular in the Red Wings lineup, mostly as a hitter, but some occasional pitching appearances. Last pitched on June 15th against the Ironbacks, but it's 1-2 to Turner. Red Wings, one of their 3 wins came in a doubleheader with the Ironbacks. They split that doubleheader and then swept Newark in a doubleheader yesterday. And a big cut and miss for strike 3. Briefly gets away from Delano, but he'll complete the strikeout at first base. So Luke Blandino, his first strikeout victim of the day is Jack Turner. And it'll be Jaden Madrid up next. Another speedster, had 45 stolen bases to lead Herkimer last season. Spent his first 2 years there. Will start at Emmanuel in the fall over in Massachusetts. Madrid batting .250 with a .656 OPS. Another former Rochester player who followed Thomas Eaton here to Geneva. It's an inside ball 1 on Madrid. Trying out third base today. He's played primarily the middle infield. Shorter frame. It's low and away for ball 2. Blandino going to have to recover here after 2 early balls. Dino delivers low in the dirt. And it's 3 balls early here. Madrid, 6 RBIs. No one to drive in right now but himself. Would be just the second Red Wing to homer if he's able to accomplish that feat. But right now looking for the 4-pitch walk. And he gets it. An outside ball 4 will send Madrid to first base for Zach Banks. And that puts Banks in better position. He's done a lot of damage this year. Better off doing that damage with runners on. Mind you, it's just 1 runner on first base, Jaden Madrid. But Banks, a designated hitter, looking for his first knock of the day. Blandino has given up just one hit to these Red Wings, but a handful of free bags. Pickoff attempt at first is not close. Throw was lobbed, and Madrid scuffled back. Now has a lead again. Sun is setting here at McDonough Park, and on the wild pitch, it'll be an advance to second for Jaden Madrid. Ball one on the count, and a runner in scoring position for Zach Banks. Banks, the first lefty to face Blandino this inning. Up 1-0 in the count after the wild pitch. It's a low ball, 2. 6 consecutive balls for Blandino. He's had stretches like this today where he's lost his command of the strike zone. All tied at 1 here at McDonough Park. Blandino checking repeatedly on Madrid at second and sends one down the pike for strike 1. Breaks up his streak of balls with 1 down. And the runner on second. Luke Blandino. As Madrid takes off for third base, he will be in there safely with a third ball on the count. Luke Blandino. Looking to get back in this count, and it's a line drive foul to fill things up. That'll help Blandino. Infield is in for the Americans. On the full count to Banks. Blandino had the full count on him the first time through the order. Now the same thing right here. And here's the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the inning for Luke Blandino. A walk sandwiched in between. And some balls on that count as well, but he refines his command of the zone for out number 2. We chase Fogg up next. Fogg 0 for 1, part of the 1-2-3 inning that Blandino started off his day with. Blandino looking for a second consecutive batter retired here with the runner on third. Ball 1 in the dirt. Madrid started out with a walk, has taken 2 bases over the course of the at-bat, 1 on a steal, 1 on a wild pitch. And that'll be a chopper headed towards Bowles. The throw to first for the easy out. That'll bring it to the 4th inning. We'll be right back after the break. top of the fourth rather, here from Geneva in this fourth inning is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, by Johnny Ryan, and by Coca-Cola. Get all your Coke beverages at concessions at every Americans home game. Can also get some affordable beers tomorrow at the stadium. $2 beer night. Americans will host the Niagara Ironbacks for the last time this season. And Avery Vogt will be back on the call. We'll have all the coverage with first pitch at 6:30. But Paul Delanto all on the count to start off this fourth inning against Dawson Thomas. 2 balls in a row to him. He'll be followed up in this inning by Dalton Harper and Ian Wang. Delanto catching tonight after DHing most nights here for the Americans. It's just his second game behind the dish. He swings and misses on strike one. Thomas in this top of the fourth with the sun setting here at McDonough Park has a 2-1 count on Delanto. That's inside for ball 3. These jerseys for the Red Wings, broadcaster's dream, very big numbers. Here's the 3-1. It'll go inside for strike 2. Delanto thought he had a walk. Ump says no. It was a tough battle. Paul Delanto with the full count, payoff pitch right here. And that is a foul tip for strike 3. Right into the mitt of Zane Barron. It's 1 down. So Paul Delanto, the first strikeout victim of the inning. Dawson Thomas up to 3 punch-outs on the day. And Dalton Harper, the designated hitter, will follow up Delanto. It's an upstairs and inside ball 1 near the shoulders of Harper. Harper was hit his first time up to bat. An inside ball 2 in a similar spot for Dawson Thomas. Delanto also had the early lead in the count, but ended up striking out. Harper looking to get on base for the second time today. Hopefully not by getting hit, though. He'd have taken a beating as that bounces right off the plate for ball 3. Dalton Harper, the chance for the 4-pitch walk. Thomas in his 4th inning of work has retired 10 batters, which is 1 run earned, and will whack Harper again. Right on the back. Would have been ball 4 anyways, but Dalton Harper's taking a beating today. He'll get on base for the second time as he's hit for the second time. Ian Wang was walked his first time up. But Thomas has hit double the batters he's walked. And a meeting on the mound between Barron and Thomas. Barron returns behind the dish. For Ian Wang. And that'll be a foul ball by Wang, and Harper had headed for second, but he's going to have to go right back. And here is Huang with the 0-1 count. Batting from the left side again against the righty Thomas. And he'll go outside to make it ones across the board. Huang has rotated at second base with Connor Kiefer and Jack Satinoff, among others. Brady Bowles has also seen some occasional time there. And that'll be grounded, and it'll be just picked up by Fogg. The infield single by Ian Huang as Fogg is rattled by that hard-hit grounder. So the Americans with 2 runners on for Graydon Miller. The Americans with their 3rd hit of the day. Graydon Miller up next. Both runners have a lead. It's an upstairs ball 1 to Miller. Miller 0 for 1. Weighing on after the hit. And Harper after getting hit. 2 very different ways of getting on base, but nonetheless, 2 ducks on the pond. It's a low away ball 2 rather. So Huang with his first hit of the day to take first. Harper on base for the 2nd time today, as is Huang. He walked his first time up. Chance for the double steal again here. It's a big cut and miss by Graydon Miller, the first strike on his count. Dawson Thomas looking for his 4th strikeout. He has 1 this inning. It was on Paul Delanto to lead things off. And that'll be a grounder. Picked up by Fogg again. Out at second. And not in time for the out at first base. Graydon Miller reaching on the fielder's choice. It's runners on the corners with 2 down. Brady Bowles 0 for 1 with a strikeout. It's rare for him. He's had a lot of 2-strike counts and gotten out of it. Not that time. Bowles. A low strike 1 that catches the low part of the zone. So Bowles with his 4th strike of his day taken. Product of Panola, one of 2 Panola players in today's lineup alongside Tommy Mathay. Chris Gazaldo with the day off. He's also from Panola and has rotated in at shortstop. 1's on the count to Bowles. Brady looking to make contact in fair territory for the first time today. It's a low outside ball 2. And the count, just like that, is in Bowles' favor. He has a way of working these counts and taking walks. It's the reason why he has been kept in this lineup by manager Will Cordero. Liam Schott today serving as the first base coach with Cordero in his usual spot at 3rd. The pickoff attempt to Miller at first is unsuccessful. Bowles 11 walks on the season. Had his 11th last night against the Ironbacks. Swing and a miss to even up the count. It's 2s across the board on Bowles. Dawson Thomas looking to retire his 12th batter of the day. Get out of 4 innings with just 1 run allowed. But runners on the corners for him right now. And it's ball 3, low and away to fill up the count. Thomas. If he gives up anything here, it's likely the Americans will be in good position to take the lead. They have the go-ahead run at 3rd base in the form of Dalton Harper. Here's the pitch, and that is going to be lined foul down the first base line to keep Bowles alive in the at-bat. Braden Miller headed back to first. He had taken off on the full count pitch. Thomas checking on him. He has a big lead. Here's the payoff pitch in just a moment. He delivers. And it'll get in there for strike 3. Brady Bowles sent packing to end the inning. It's still 1-1, headed into the 5th inning. We'll be right back. Americans dugout heated after that one. Some difficulties with our scorebook. It's actually the bottom of the 4th here from McDonough Park. But still tied at 1. Headed into this bottom of the inning. And we want to remind you to follow us on all our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. Thank you to our social media managers, Frankie Morris and Leah Fraun, for keeping those up and running all season long. Americans and Red Wings tied at 1. With Luke Blandino still on the bump for his 4th inning of work. Aiken Santana, the first customer in this inning. He'll be followed up by Michael Ucci and Zane Barron, the catcher. Santana playing first today is 0 for 1. Was retired in the 1st inning by Blandino. Pitch is upstairs and inside at the hands of Santana for ball 1. Blandino. The early ball on the count. Now the 1-0 is lined up the middle. Moore backing up, and he'll make the running grab for out number 1. Grant Moore tracking it down and sending Santana packing for the 2nd time tonight. It'll be Michael Ucci up next. Ucci, another one of those former Rochester Ridgemen. A grand total of 4 Ridgemen from 2024 in Thomas Eaton's lineup tonight. Ucci takes an upstairs ball. Has DH'd and caught for this Red Wings team over the course of the season. Zane Barron behind the dish tonight. So Ucci slotting in as EH. It'll be a chopper foul to even up the count. It's ones across the board on Ucci. Ucci came into the game batting .222 with a .795 OPS. Tens Nichols in Massachusetts. A couple of Massachusetts colleges have players here on the Red Wings. 2-1 to Ucci. It's fascinated myself. Cool to see guys from the Bay State coming out here to the PGCBL. Blandino, the 2-1 count, looking to get back in this. It is lined into right field. Foul territory. And Miller will make the grab for out number 2 in the foul territory down the first base line. 2 down, nobody on for Geneva. Zane Barron up next, the catcher. 211 hitter, 559 OPS. 2 ribbies on the season. but nobody to drive in right now but himself. Hails from Daytona Beach, Florida. It's his first year playing summer ball here for these Red Wings. Just finished up his first year at Hillsborough Community College. First pitch from Blandino will drop on the low edge of the strike zone. Make it 0-1. Dino looking to keep this a tie game and send the Red Wings down 1-2-3 in this bottom of the fourth. It'll be in the dirt for ball one. Blandino today has let just 3 base runners on. 1 hit, 2 walks allowed. Red Wings scored their run on a balk. And that'll be a line drive into center field. Moore coming in to make the grab. He's been busy and he's been dominant. We'll send it to the 5th inning after the break. Back for the top of the 5th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network. It's tied at 1 at McDonough Park. The Red Wings giving the Americans a game here in this 5th inning. It's brought to you by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. So this 5th inning, the Americans looking to take the lead for the first time today. They tied it at 1 in the top of the 3rd. It'll be Alan Ramos, Tommy Mathay, and Graham Moore. They all came up in the 3rd inning and now will come up again in the 5th. So this here trio that got things going for the Americans the last time around. It'll be Alan Ramos up first. Ramos 0 for 1 on the day, but last time around was followed up by consecutive hits. Tommy Mathay and Graham Moore. We'll see if Ramos can lead things off with a hit this time around. Right now, it's strike 1 down the pike to him. Ramos committed to go to Wagner in the fall. One of the fastest players on the team, but hasn't really had the chance to steal all that often. Does have a quiet hit streak. It's 0-2 to him right now. Looking for his first knock of the day to keep the streak going. It's in the dirt for ball 1. Dawson Thomas in his 5th inning of work. It's been a very mixed bag for these Red Wings, whether their pitchers go long innings. Brady Toney now in as the first base coach for the Americans. The pitch will be driven into left field for the base hit. Alan Ramos. Hit streak gets to 4 games. He takes first base with the 4th hit of the day for the Americans. Tommy Mathey, 1 for 1, looking to get on base again. Mathey, one of 2 Panola hitters in the Americans lineup, will take strike 1 on the outside part of the plate. The only 2 lefties in the order are Mathey and Maury, and Huang's been batting from the left side as the switch hitter against Thomas. The 0-1 will be fouled off behind the dish to make it 2 strikes on the batter Mathey. So Ramos' 4th consecutive game with a hit is on first base. Mathey hails from Michigan, but school down in Texas. The 0-2 pitch is going to be grounded, picked up by Santana at first, so it'll be ruled foul. Went off Mathey's body to keep the count at 0-2. Keep Mathey alive in this at-bat, and what would have been a routine ground out. Ramos headed back to first base with the 2-strike count. Tommy Mathey will have the fly ball into left field. It'll be caught for out number 2 by Jack Turner. Ramos holds up at first. It's 2 down. Or 1 down, rather. Grant Moore will bat next. 1 for 2 today. His hit streak up to 16 games. It's an outside ball, 1 to him. Graham Moore just got to get himself on base, and this could be a serious double steal threat with him and Ramos. They raced earlier, and Ramos taken off, but it's fouled off. Alan Ramos has been pretty unlucky with his steal attempts this season. Been foul balls almost every time he's tried to steal. Gets himself tired out on the base paths, but as I was alluding to, he raced Grant Moore after the game on Saturday, and it was a dead tie, so Moore's 17 steals. Ramos could start chasing that number once he gets on base more and has some luck in his favor. Another foul ball by Moore. And I mean, part of this is Ramos usually batting in the bottom of the order. And Grant Moore right up top. And Moore's been notorious for fouling off a lot of pitches, making for tough at-bats. He's only struck out 4 times all season long, and that's a chopper sent to Santana, and the tag will be in time for out number 2. It advances Alan Ramos to second base. But Aiken Santana making the tag himself for out number 2. Evan Core up next. 0 for 2 with a strikeout today. Looking to expand his 12-game on-base streak. Had an 11-game hit streak that got snapped last night, but did get on base, so. First pitch from Thomas as Ramos starts to head towards third, is popped up right to Santana for out number 3. Alan Ramos left in scoring position. We're still tied at 1 here from McDonough Park. Americans and Red Wings will be right back. Blandino back on the bump as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And fans, do you or someone you know have a birthday coming up? Why not spend it with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 drinks, customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseballs, and special recognition at the game starting at just $175. Sign up online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com. And Luke Blandino has pitched 4 innings, a 1-run ball, but the Americans have not been able to give him much run support in this game. Just 4 hits for 1 run. Been leaving runners on base. Red Wings have walked 1 and hit 2 as well, so a number of guys left on for these Americans. And Briggs will be up first for the Red Wings here, followed up by Elijah Benton and Casey Burkroff. Dylan Briggs, the center fielder, walked his first time up, came around to score. This is actually the stretch of the lineup that gave Blandino a tough time back in the 2nd inning, and that's a hard hit line drive foul for strike 1. Luke Blandino looking to stay strong here in this 5th. 52 pitches through 4 innings. And upstairs, ball 1 to even up the count on Briggs. Dylan Briggs, Middletown, New Jersey native, stayed local for college at Montclair State. And that'll get in there on the inside part of the zone to make it 1-2. Blandino off to a strong start to this bottom of the 5th inning. Can he finish the job in this at-bat? On the 1-2 pitch. Here it comes. That'll go above the head of the batter Briggs to even up the count once again. Been back and forth between Blandino and Briggs. In a case of the killer bees for the Red Wings. Briggs, Benton, Burkroff contributed to that first run. And that'll be a tip foul. Elijah Benton, the only Red Wing with a hit in this game. He's on deck. The 2-2 pitch from Blandino is fouled off again, and Briggs is making for a tough at-bat here against Blandino. Really working this count. Was down 1-2. Since then, a ball, and it's fouled off a couple to stay alive. Delanto behind the dish. Hoping to catch one of those foul tips. An American went down earlier that way. But instead, it's a ground ball. The slide by Ramos to pick it up and sent to first base for out number 1. Alan Ramos with an excellent dive at short to complete the ground out. 1 down, and Elijah Benton up next. 1 for 1 on the day. It was one of his first hits of the year. Benton has played both ways. Last pitched against Auburn on Saturday. One of several two-way players for these Red Wings. Jack Turner as well. That is a bunt, and it'll drop foul right down the first baseline. That had some carry on it for a bunt. Very surprising for it to go all the way near the glove of Graydon Miller. You could have caught that. Blandino looking for his 2nd consecutive batter retired in this inning. Has the 0-1 count after that foul bunt by Elijah Benton. The pitch will go right down the pike for strike 2. Elijah, just 2 hits on the year, his 2nd coming today. Dino delivers on the 0-2. It's fouled off. as Benton is staying alive here in this at-bat. Here's Benton. And that's a line drive down the first base line for another base hit. Elijah Benton has already tripled his hit total on the season in just one day. Only Red Wing to get a hit today is, believe it or not, the guy who had just one hit headed into the game. It'll be Casey Burkroff up next with one down and one on for Blandino. Burkroff, the left-handed hitter, will line it again. Similar spot for the base hit and more. Evan Core loses track of it for a second. It'll be a stand-up double for Geneva. The Red Wings threatening to take the lead. It's runners on second and third with one down. Casey Burkroff, only the second Red Wing to get a hit on the day, but comes in a big moment. And for whatever reason, Luke Blandino has had a lot of trouble with this part of the order. It was the 6, 7, 8 of the Red Wings order to start this inning, and it's runners on second and third. Jack Turner up next. The righty out of Averett with two runners in scoring position. The go-ahead run on third. Foul tip behind the dish for strike one. Briggs on third base and Benton on second. For the last of these killer bees, Casey Burkroff. 0-1, swing and a miss. Burkroff has taken a lot of big cuts today, but did not strike out his first time up. Turner also some big cuts, and he struck out his first time around, looking to avoid strikeout number 2. Excuse me, it's Benton on third, Burkroff on second. My apologies for that, but Benton still on third base on this 2-strike count. 1 ball, 2 runners in scoring position. Blandino looking to get out of this inning unscathed despite some serious traffic. The 1-2 pitch will be upstairs to even up the count. The fastball misses. Both runners have a lead. Benton at third, Burkroff at second, and Jack Turner looking to avoid striking out for the second time today. The pitch from Dino is fouled off behind the dish. Jack Turner making up tough at bat against Blandino here. Blandino looking for his third punch out, his second against Turner. Brady Bowles has also struck out twice in this game. The pitch, swing and a miss. Down goes Jack Turner for the second time today. Luke Blandino with strikeout number 3 today, strikeout number 17 on the season, and Jaden Madrid will round things out for the order. Looking to knock in some runs. He walked his first time up. That walk coming in 4 pitches. So Blandino's had some trouble with Madrid today. See if he can recover here with 2 down and 2 on. And it's a ground ball. It's picked up by Ramos. The throw to first in time for out number 3. Blandino has 2 runners in scoring position, but gets out of the jam. We'll be right back with the 6th inning.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the top of the 6th inning. It's 2 strikes here on Ethan Madison. Madison today is 0 for 2. Fouls it off to stay alive here. Dawson Thomas still going strong, arguably his best outing of the year. Americans looking to break that up. It's a pop-up in foul territory. And the Americans had some trouble against Doubleday's pitchers that had struggled to start their season. Same thing here in Geneva. I mean, they were able to tear up Preston Leach back a couple weeks back, but just hasn't been able. Americans haven't been able to do the same to Dawson Thomas, an established starter in this Red Wings rotation. Madison going to send that down the third base line on the grounder for the base hit. So that's a good start if you want to get to your pitcher. Runner on first for the Americans. 5th hit of the day for Niagara Falls. And Paul Delanto will be up next. Delanto 0 for 2 with a strikeout in this tie ball game. Product of Stony Brook. Looking to advance Ethan Madison, and that will briefly get away from the catcher, Barron. But no advance for Ethan Madison. The pitch is going to be grounded into a similar spot into left field for the base hit. Back-to-back singles, Delanto and Madison. A catcher and a guy who's caught extra hitting tonight. Going back-to-back on the hits. And now Dalton Harper, the DH who caught last night. Trying to make it a catcher rally here in the top of the 6th inning for these Americans. This is a loaded catching unit for Niagara Falls. These three alongside Nick Past have rotated at the position And most nights, the Americans have at least one or two catchers in their DH, EH slots because they're just that good at the plate. Dawson Thomas now with a meeting on the mound. Looks like his night is done. Thomas done after 5+ innings of work. It'll be Smitty Washington coming out of the pen for the Red Wings with runners on first and second and nobody out. Smitty is 0-1 with a 15.43 ERA and 1 strikeout. Product of NJIT. He'll be starting there in the fall. Went 1-0 with a 2.15 ERA and 34 strikeouts his junior year of high school. So those are his most recent non-PGCBL numbers. He struggled a bit in the PGCBL here in the early going, but limited sample size. Washington, certainly a capable pitcher, just has to get into his groove here against these Americans with runners on first and second. Dalton Harper has been on twice today without a proper at bat. Has been hit by pitch both times up to bat. So he's really taken a beating. And Smitty Washington getting ready to face these Americans for the first time this season. Dalton Harper is due up next. Likely Ian Huang and Graydon Miller will follow him up. Washington, like Thomas, is a right-handed pitcher. So it'll be a right-on-right matchup. To start things off here for Smitty. For those of you just joining, it's a new pitcher on the bump, Smitty Washington, the new pitcher for the Red Wings, hoping to keep this score tied. The Americans threatening with 2 runners on to take the lead. Dalton Harper will be the first customer for Washington with 2 runners on. Looking to get on base for the 3rd time today in his first proper at bat. And the first pitch from Washington as he checks back on Madison is down the pike for strike 1. So that's how you want to start if you're Smitty. Harper, second-year American. Looking to either load the bases or knock in some runs. And it's an inside ball 1 to even up the count. Some speedy pitches from Washington in the early going here, but mixed results. Just 1 finding the strike zone on Harper. Next pitch will bounce in the dirt. Runners taking off as it gets past Barron. The wild pitch will advance both runners. It's 2 runners in scoring position. Madison on third, Delanto on second for Dalton Harper. Makes the count 2-1. Americans out hitting the Red Wings 6-3, but they've left some runners on base. Looking to cash in here with 2 runners eager to score. Walk would load the bases. Any hit or even ball in play would likely score some runs. And inside, ball 3 on Harper. Ian Huang is on deck for these Americans. Smitty Washington with 3 balls and 1 strike. It's been consecutive balls. And that is going to be driven into right field foul territory. It will drop out of play to fill up the count. Dalton Harper with no wiggle room anymore. Gonna have to put the ball in play or take a walk. Hopefully not get hit for the third time today. Thomas hit him twice. Both runners have a lead. The payoff pitch goes way wild, and it's ball 4. And I'd argue the Red Wings are lucky the runners didn't go on that one. So the base is juiced for Wang with nobody out. Wang 1 for 1 with a walk. One of those days where Wang is just thriving at the plate, and you do not want to mess with a hot Ian Wang. 4 for 5 day against Batavia to start the season. Looking to get back to a day like that here in Geneva. And it's ball 1 inside. He has to dodge. Backs up his legs to avoid the pitch. Smitty Washington has nowhere to put Wang. These first 2 base runners are the fault of Dawson Thomas. And that is going to be the high chopper for the base hit. Wang is now 2 for 2. 1 run scores. Second run coming around. Wang headed into second, and the ball will get away. Now coming home, the third run, Dalton Harper. A bases clearing knock for Ian Wang. Oh my goodness, the Americans have broken this game open. It's 4-1 on the 7th hit of the day. Holy mackerel, Ian Wang with a huge knock for these Americans. Wang will get credit for 2 of those RBIs, the third coming on an error. And now Graydon Miller with Wang on second takes ball 1. Graydon Miller, second-year veteran for the Americans with the chance to really push this game into the Americans' favor after a big knock by Wang. That's a foul tip to even up the count. And that'll be ruled as a single in advance for Wang. He does have 3 doubles on the year, but nonetheless, another big knock with 2 RBIs for Ian. His second hit of the day, and the 1-1 pitch to Miller goes outside. Wang thinking about third, but not too far away from Zane Barron, so he'll hold up at second. Americans had problems leaving guys on base the entire day. Finally cash in. To make it a 3-run lead, their first lead of the game. 4 unanswered runs for Niagara Falls. Wang thought about third, but it's a big cut and miss to make it 2-2. Smitty Washington has had some trouble since he came in relief of Dawson Thomas. The runs were charged to Dawson, but nonetheless, Washington having some troubles here. Count at 2-2 on Smitty. Checks back on Wang a second multiple times before delivering. It's an inside ball 3 to fill up the count with nobody out on Graydon Miller. Miller 0 for 2 today. Washington checks back, now delivers on the payoff pitch. Miller going to line that into left field, and coming under it to make the grab is Jack Turner. One down. Smitty Washington finally gets his first out after 3 runs by the Americans. Brady Bowles will bat next. Bowles 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. First pitch from Smitty will go inside and get past Barron. Huang takes off for third and gets there with ease. On ball 1, Ian Huang now 1 base away from scoring. With 1 down and Bowles up to bat. Brady Bowles, 11 walks this season, looking for number 12 after 2 early strikeouts. Has the 1-0 count and takes another ball in the dirt. Smitty Washington, it's been a rough go for him so far. Did get the fly out in left field, but lacking swing and miss stuff here against these Americans. It was tied at 1 for most of this game, and now the Americans starting to break away. 3 consecutive balls. Pitch from Washington. Will drop in the dirt. It's a 4-pitch walk on Brady Bowles, his 12th of the year. It's runners on the corners for Alan Ramos. Allen is 1 for 2 today. This is a big moment for him. Ramos, the Wagner commit, takes a ball low. That is now 5 consecutive balls by Smitty Washington. Bowles was walked. Ramos, a ball in the count. Ramos, big Chipotle lover, had the chance to grab some Chipotle with him the other day. And the pickoff attempt unsuccessful on Bowles at first base. It was, I mean, this locker room tends to love eating there, but it's the one night that nobody on the team wanted to go, except for me and Alan. And now taking off is Brady Bowles, the swing and miss for strike 1, but the stolen base by Brady to make it 2 runners in scoring position again for the Americans with 1s across the board. The Americans have already mercied the Red Wings once. We're not close to that territory yet, but they can get a rally going, can start to think about that. A 2-1 count on the inside, ball 2. Ramos, a walk, would now load the bases for Tommy Mathey. Strike 1, similar part of the plate, but a little further towards the strike zone, just a tiny bit inside that time around. Count is evened at 2s on Ramos. Pitch from Washington is inside to fill up the count. Ramos has taken 3 pitches in a similar spot. One been called a strike, a little less inside. 2 have been called balls. So now the full count on him. Payoff pitch from Washington is going to be lined down the first base line, but caught by Santana for out number 2. A huge line out for Geneva to keep the runners on second and third with Mathey up to bat. Tommy Mathay, the last hope to drive in these runners here in the 6th inning. The Americans with some insurance for Luke Blandino after a quiet 4th and 5th inning. And Mathay is going to ground that to the second baseman, Berkeroff, sent to Santana for out number 3. Americans strand 2, but score 3 in the inning. They lead by 3 headed into the bottom of the 6th. We'll see if Luke Blandino keeps going when we're back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
And it's back to the top of the order. Blandino facing the Red Wings the 3rd time through. Zach Banks will lead things off here in the bottom of the 6th. 6th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans. So Zach Banks kicking things off. He'll be followed up by Chase Fogg and Aiken Santana, just like in the 1st inning. Swing and a miss right there. Blandino gets the strike on him. Banks 0 for 2 and down 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch will drop low and away for ball 1. Luke Blandino, one of his longer outings of the season, looking to get out of this inning cleanly, as he did back in the 1st inning against these 3 batters. And that'll be a ground ball, picked up by Huang at short, sent to first for out number 1. So 1 down for the Red Wings. Zach Banks now 0 for 3 on the day, and Chase Fogg, also hitless, comes up next. The shortstop came into the game batting 136 with a 602 OPS. Comes from Division I Queens University. Blandino now 5 1/3 into this game. Throws strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. That edge to the righty batter's box has been a popular strike call for the home plate ump today, and pitchers are taking advantage. Here's the 0-1. Check swing, and he did not go around. Ump doesn't even look to first base on that, but 1's across the board to Chase Fogg, the rising junior at Queens. Will foul that off right into the netting right here in the press box. And I mean, glad we have it back here for our own safety. But 2-2 on the count. Luke Blandino. 1 down and 2 strikes on this count. There's a fly ball. It'll be caught for out number 2. Ends up being more of an infield liner. And Aiken Santana will be up next. Santana 0 for 2 today. Came in batting .395 though. So tough customer for Blandino. Takes ball 1 outside. Banks the only one of these 3 in this inning who have struck out on the day. And a swing and a miss right there to even up the count on Santana. Banks and Santana, both among Thomas Eaton's second-year players on different summer ball teams. There's a ground ball picked up by Ramos at short. The out at first base to end the inning. We'll head to the 7th after the break. Be right back right here on the Americans Baseball Network. Niagara Falls 1, Niagara Falls 4, Geneva 1.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Seventh inning here from Geneva. Americans lead 4-1 in the 7th inning is brought to you by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, the Stalka Agency, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. Got a burger up here, not thanks to Red Robin, but thanks to the Geneva Red Wings concession stand. Some great hospitality here at McDonough Park. And a new pitcher for Geneva, Stephen Pearson. Hails from Australia. He's pitched his first 2 seasons at Kingsborough Community College. Can also hit, but has served as a pitcher thus far for Geneva. 45 ERA on the year, 0-1 record. And he will see the top of the order here in this 7th. Grant Moore to kick things off, followed by Evan Core and Ethan Madison. 4th time through the order for Niagara Falls. Moore takes an outside, ball 1 on the first pitch from Pearson. So the Red Wings got a little over 5 innings from Dawson Thomas. Saw some trouble in the 6th, and now 2 different relievers since. 2 balls on the count to Moore here from Pearson, the new pitcher. Moore expanded his hit streak to 16, but looking for his 2nd hit of the day, or at least to reach for the 2nd time today with the 3-0 count. Sun is setting here at McDonough Park. That'll find the strike zone to make it 3-1. Outside corner on Grant Moore. Pitch from Pearson is fouled off to fill up the count on Grant. All you really need to do if you're Grant Moore is get on base, and almost like an automatic double because he can really run. And I'll be outside for ball 4. There it is. Grant Moore on base for the second time today. Seeking some more steals. Came into this game with 17. Evan Core up next. 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Looking to get on base for the first time today. Would be 13 games in a row getting on base if he can in this one. And that is high and inside for ball 1. The right-on-right matchup between Core and Pearson, starting in the favor of the batter. The 1-0 as Moore takes off, and he will get in there for his 18th steal of the year. Ball 2 to Core, and Moore is now on second. He's had just about a steal every single game, actually averaging over a steal every game he's played because he missed a couple. Moore now is a lead towards third, and it's an outside breaking ball for ball 3 from Pearson. And Pearson already walked Grant Moore. Just 2 strikes on the day from Pearson. That'll be the third on the inside part of the zone. So consecutive 3-1 counts that Pearson's had. Ended up walking Moore, and now he's on second base. That's the consequences of letting a guy like Grant Moore on base, and now Evan Core will be right behind him. Core is the second leading base stealer for the Americans. So the chance for the double steal with Ethan Madison up next. Madison led off the 6th inning with a single, and here's the double steal. It gets away from Madrid, and on ball 1, it's 2 runners in scoring position. Grant Moore with steal number 19, Evan Core with steal number 8. These guys are in the 1 and 2 spots for a reason. Reliable hitters and reliable base stealers. Grant Moore now 19 in 18 games, 16 of which he's played in. The 2-0 count to Ethan Madison. 2 runners in scoring position. The Americans looking to really break this one open with the 3-run lead. There's strike 1 down the pike from Pearson. And Pearson has had occasional strikes in the count, but it's been sandwiched between big groups of balls. And there's going to be a grounder down the third base line for the base hit. 1 run scores. Core holding up at third base. Gets the stop sign from Cordero. And the Americans up 5-1 with their 8th hit of the day. Steven Pearson returns to the hill to face Paul Delanto. Also had a hit in the 6th inning, so he's 1 for 3. Struck out earlier in the game. Has runners on the corners. We're going to keep this parade going for the Americans. And the pickoff attempt at first unsuccessful on Ethan Madison. Second base open for him, but Madison hasn't stolen nearly the bases that Core and Moore have. And that's going to be down the third base line for another base hit. Delanto, his second knock of the day, his second 2-hit game in a row. And another ribby for Delanto. It's 6-1. Paul Delanto is now up to 17 RBIs on the season leads the team in that category as he has most of the year. Dalton Harper will follow him up. 2 ducks on the pond. Madison and Delanto, just like last time Harper was up. It's a wild pitch. The runners go second and third again for the Americans with nobody out. It's been a rough inning here for Steven Pearson. He had the loss his last time pitching. Letting this game start to crack open here in what would have been still a 3-run ball game before this. 2 balls on the count to Dalton Harper. Harper has reached every time he's come up to bat. A walk and has been whacked twice. And he's going to send that right back to Pearson. He doesn't know where to throw it. Ends up throwing it right back to first for out number 1. So Dalton Harper retired for the first time today, but runners still on second and third. Steven Pearson looked apparently at all 3 bases there. I feel like if he didn't hesitate, it's possible there could have been a double play right there, but instead just 1 out right at first. Ian Huang up next, the switch hitter. Still batting from the left side against the 3rd consecutive righty out of this Red Wings pitching staff. It's a low ball 1 on Huang. He's 2 for 2 with a walk, so just like Harper has reached base every single time he's come up to bat. Got hit once as well. Or rather, just a walk. It's a fly ball into shallow left field. And the catch made by Jack Turner for out number 2. So these runners still on second and third for the Americans with a 5-run lead. They can start to climb into mercy territory if they score these runners. 10-run lead after 7 enacts the mercy rule here in the PGCBL. The Americans are halfway there with 2 more runners in scoring position. Graydon Miller up next. And Miller, unlike Huang and Harper, has not reached base today. He's 0 for 3, takes ball 1 though. Graydon, the second-year American, looking to drive in some more runs. He's 3rd on the team in RBIs. 2-0 count to him. Huang leading the team on the night with RBIs, has a pair of them on a bases-clearing knock. A 3rd run scoring on an error. That came on the throw after Huang's base hit. 3 consecutive balls by Pearson. He hasn't had a 4-pitch walk yet, but he's walked plenty. 2 batters walked already, as well as a pair of hits allowed. Before 2 consecutive outs. It's 3-1 to the number 7 hitter, Graydon Miller. Way outside, it gets away from Barron, but the runners will hold out of fear. Barron was going to get back to that in time. I mean, the situation there, Barron could have gotten back to it. It will be a walk on Graydon Miller, but bases are juiced now for Brady Bowles because Barron was close to picking that back up. If the lead runner, Ethan Madison, tried to come home, likely would have been tagged out for out number 3. And third base is not open for Paul Delanto. That'll be fouled off by Brady Bowles for strike 1. Bowles has yet to make contact in fair territory. 2 strikeouts, 1 walk on the night. The 0-1 from Pearson is going to be flown in foul territory, and Santana was close to making the grab, but it drops near him for strike 2. Trying to avoid injury right there. I think that's a smart call because it's 1 strike away from this inning being over for Steven Pearson. Brady Bowles, certainly a capable hitter. A couple of multi-hit games over the last few days. Came in batting .294. And that'll get in there for strike 3. Brady Bull strikes out for the 3rd time today. And the Americans will lead by 5 headed into the bottom of the 7th. Could have led by more, but still going to be happy with that lead. We'll be right back for the bottom of the 7th. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 7th inning. Robert Leach will relieve Luke Blandino after 6 innings of 1-run ball. Another great start by Blandino and the Americans over those last couple of innings. Finally started to give him some run support. 3 runs in the 6th inning, 2 runs in the 7th. Blandino eligible for the win if things keep going along this way. Robert Leach has made a mix of starts and relief appearances this season. He's 1-1 with a 6.75 ERA and 9 strikeouts. Pretty much been night and day for him as a starter versus reliever. Much more effective out of the pen. He'll face the middle of the Red Wings order here. Michael Uchi, Zang Barron, and Dylan Briggs. Uchi up for the 3rd time today. He's 0 for 2. We'll take ball 1 low. Leach seeing these Red Wings for the first time. It's 2-0 on the pitch that goes right over the lefty batter's box. That's an inside ball 3 now. Robert Leach last pitched against Jamestown when he went 4 innings and a start. Started 2 games in Jamestown this season, and the Tarp Skunks gave him a hard time. Now he will walk Michael Uchi in 4 pitches. Leach has had 2 relief appearances, but neither of them have been against this team. Will Cordero already coming out to meet with Leach after the 4-pitch walk, as well as Paul Delanto coming from home plate. It'll be Dylan Briggs up next. A hitter that Luke Blandino had some trouble with. 0 for 1 with a walk. Robert Leach going to have to find his command of the strike zone against a guy who's a very patient hitter. Leach with 1 on and nobody out. Leach throws an inside ball 1 to the batter Briggs. That's 5 consecutive balls to start out Leach's days. Leach nods, delivers the 1-0. That gets in there on the inside corner for strike one. Finding those strikes starts with painting the corner successfully. See if he can keep doing that here. Yes, indeed. Similar spot on the breaking ball for strike two. So now consecutive strikes on Barron, rather. Not Dylan Briggs just yet. He's 0 for 2. And that'll be the grounder picked up by Ramos. A little bobble sent to first. Will it be there in time? No. Runners on first and second. It'll be ruled an infield single. A hard hit ball that Ramos had some trouble with. And the misplay leads to the hit for the Red Wings. Dylan Briggs now up, and this is a guy you don't want to mess with, especially with two runners on. Has walked once, came around to score. An inside pitch, but gets in there for strike one. Leach continuing to paint that inside part of the zone for strikes. But that hard hit ground ball made it first and second with nobody out. The lead runner is Uchi, and he is taunting Leach. And on the bunt shown, Briggs went around for strike two. Uchi on second, Barron on first. Barron with the single. Well, Uchi walked to start this inning off. That came in 4 pitches. It's now 1-2 to Dylan. Leach was anticipated to be the first reliever in for the Americans. They have Brady, Tony, and Pinaro ready to go as that is lined into right field for the base hit. Bases are now loaded. Stop sign at third base. And it's the 5th hit of the day for Geneva. Robert Leach, some serious traffic to start off his night. This is the first time he's really seen that as a reliever. We'll see if he can recover with Braden Freeman, who came in as a defensive sub. Now batting for Elijah Benton. Benton was 2 for 2 in his pair of at-bats. So an interesting decision to sub out for him, but the swing and miss by Freeman for strike one. There's another Thomas Eaton guy. He followed him from Rochester to Geneva from 2024 to 25. The next pitch will drop low and away to make it 1-1. That'll go up and away to put the count in the favor of Freeman. Braden on the year, 219 hitter, and he'll send one foul down the first base line. Count is now even with nobody out and the bases juiced. Robert Leach. The count even up, will deliver. Swing and a miss. First strikeout for Robert Leach today. And on the year, that is strikeout number 10 for him. A critical strikeout with the bases loaded. And now Casey Burkroff up next. 1 for 2 today. Check swing. They'll say he went. Strike one. Now an upstairs ball. One's across the board. From Robert Leach to the batter, Burkroff. 2 consecutive balls by Leach. Burkroff looking for his second hit to drive in some runs for the Red Wings. But that'll drop down for ball 3. Nowhere to put Casey. All 3 runners have a lead. They're anticipating the walk right here. The pitch from Leach is outside, and that will walk in a run. Not what you want to do with the bases juiced. The Red Wings cut the lead to 4. So bases still loaded with 1 down, and Jack Turner now up. He's struck out twice today. Going to change his fate against the new pitcher, Leach. Brady Toney and Carmen Pinaro ready to go for the Americans in case Leach continues to struggle here. Strike 1 down the pike, though, on Turner. It's a guy that Leach knows he can attack on. Turner has chased a lot of pitches and chases right there. It's 0-2. Leach seems to have learned from what Luke Blandino was able to do against Jack Turner. But we'll see if he can complete the strikeout right here with a 2-strike count. He'll have to wait for now. It's ball 1 inside. The inside miss on Turner. As runners have a lead. It's now Barron on third. And a swing and a miss for strike 3 on the batter, Jack Turner. Jaden Madrid up next with 2 down. And with the bases loaded, Madrid represents the tying run. Barron on third, Briggs on second. And on first base, it's Casey Burkroff. Ball 1 on the new batter, Madrid, who's 0 for 1 with a walk. A walk here would drive in another run. But instead, it's a line drive at the leaping catch by Ian Huang for out number 3. Red Wings strand the bases loaded despite scoring 1. It's 6-2 Americans. We'll send it to the 8th after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
Back for the 8th inning, and this 8th is brought to you by Seneca at Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. So the Americans lead 6-2 as we start this 8th. And it'll be a new pitcher for Geneva, John McGowan, a side armor going 0-2, 11-12 ERA, and 7 strikeouts on the season so far. And due up for the Americans, it'll be Ramos, Matei, and Morris, a trio that has kicked off 2 other innings prior to this. And they've had some pretty big success here over the course of the day. Each of these 3 batters have had at least 1 hit. Ramos 1 for 3. His hit streak now up to 4 games. Where's number 4, ironically? First pitch from McGowan is bunt shown by Ramos. Gets a piece of it for strike 1. Alan Ramos, first customer for McGowan. The Americans succeeded against another Red Wings side armor, Matt Mady, in the 6th inning back on June 11th in Niagara Falls, but they haven't seen McGowan yet. A little bit of a different sidearm style. Now the count even on Ramos. That one will miss inside to make it 2-1. One of McGowan's pitches have a straight-on look to them. He's delivering them in different spots on the plate, but looking to have some break on this next pitch. That'll be an outside miss to make it 3 balls on Alan Ramos. McGowan looking for that down the middle strike. There it is, a swing and miss by Ramos to fill up the count. And this is a guy, when he's hitting his target, seems very hard to hit, but when he's off target, vulnerable to walks. Alan Ramos, the line drive right into the glove of Aiken Santana. Ramos finally makes contact, but right to the first baseman for out number 1. Tommy Matei up next. 1 for 3. Came around to score after his hit. Grant Moore knocked him in on his own single. Matei will foul off the first pitch. McGowan with some very speedy stuff, but he's had mixed results here today and on the season. And it's a bit of a check swing, but it was a strike anyways. 0-2. John McGowan is feeling it here in the top of the 8th. The 0-2. Outside. Misses on that outer edge of the righty batter's box to make it 1-2. McGowan looking to complete the strikeout on Matei with the count in his favor. The 1-2. Misses outside again. Count is now even. 2's on the count. 2 up to bat. John McGowan gets Tommy Matei to chase on strike 3. His first strikeout of the night after the lineout by Ramos right into the glove of Santana for out number 1. McGowan has been extremely effective here in this 8th. Grant Moore, the final hitter due up in this inning. He'll be a tough customer for McGowan. 1 for 3 with an RBI. Also walked. And he takes ball 1 outside. Moore is one of the more patient hitters on the team, which is kind of making it even crazier how many hits he's recorded on the season. His strikeout to walk ratio almost seamless. Just 4 strikeouts, 14 walks. 2-0 to Moore. Will get in there for strike one on that outside part of the plate. Again, some pitches close to that righty's batter box have been strike calls for the home plate up most of the night. That'll be chopped in foul territory to make it 2s across the board on Grant Moore. Ramos and Mathey retired consecutively by John McGowan. Can he complete the 1-2-3 on Grant Moore? With an even count. Moore picked up his 18th and 19th steals of the season tonight. That'll miss low and away to fill up the count on Moore. Grant Moore, one of the best hitters in the entire PGCBL. Looks to help the Americans avoid a 1-2-3 inning right here. It'll be an outside ball for Grant Moore, taking a walk, doesn't even have to swing. So he takes first base, and Evan Core will follow him up. Evan Core walked his last time up to extend his on-base streak to 13 games. Had an 11-game hit streak before these last couple. Be good to see him start a new one here in this 8th inning with Moore on base and eager to steal. 1-0 on Core, inside miss by McGowan. If Moore steals here, it's his 20th of the season. Only had 24 back at Mount Vernon, and he takes off. Gets away from Barron, so we'll see if Moore gets credit for the steal right there. But nonetheless, taking second base on the second ball. And it'll be outside to make it 3-0. Moore on second now. But as I was saying, it's ball 4 to Core. But as I was saying, Grant Moore, before this at bat, 19 steals on the PGCBL season. He had just 24 back at school. Was told by his coach in the second half of the 2025 spring season to be more aggressive on the base paths, and boy, has it paid off here for the Americans. Now double steal potential for the second time today as Ethan Madison takes an inside ball from McGowan. 2 ducks on the pond with 2 outs. McGowan has walked the last 2 batters. Moore and Core walking each for the second time today. And Ethan Madison had a hit to follow up these 2 last time around. It'll be an inside ball 2 as runners go to make it second and third. So the Americans looking to really put this game to bed in the top of the 8th inning. A 4-run lead already. Now 2 more in scoring position. That finds the inside part of the zone to make it 2-1 on Madison. A lot of those inside pitches have been called strikes. And Grant Moore on that takeoff to second did indeed get credit with his 20th steal. And that'll be ripped down the third base line for a base hit. Madison, his 3rd hit of the day, 1-run score. Second coming in, it's going to be close. Evan Core coming in to score. The Americans score both their runners in scoring position and take an 8-2 lead with their 10th hit of the day. Ethan Madison, the 2-run knock for RBIs number 2 and 3 of the day, 9 and 10 of the season. Paul Delanto, the team leader in RBIs, up next with Madison on first, has also had a multi-hit game. He's doing the catching tonight. Madison and Harper also capable catchers, but both in the hitter exclusive spots tonight. Delanto takes an inside strike one. Paulie has Ethan Madison on first base for the third at bat in a row. He's followed Madison up with hits each time, and that's going to be a floater into left field. The sliding catch by Jack Turner robs Delanto of his third hit. Inning over, but the Americans now lead 6 over the Red Wings. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 8th.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the bottom of the 8th inning. And we want to thank everyone for tuning in to the broadcast today. Remember that the Americans are a great way to bring your group together, whether it be a school, church, business, or youth sports organization. The Americans are able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at www.niagarafallsamericans.com. Next game at home will be tomorrow against the Ironbacks. It's $2 beer night. First pitch at 6:30. I'll be back on the call with Avery Vogt, color commentator, making his return. We'll have all the coverage right here on the Americans Baseball Network. But Robert Leach still pitching, and Zach Banks will be up first to face him. Banks was retired 3 times tonight by Luke Blandino. That'll be chopped foul to even up the count. Robert Leach, in his second inning of work, will have a brief meeting with Delanto. Delanto caught for Leach in his last start. Reportedly some miscommunications that time around, so they're hoping to get things right here. And miscommunication between the pitcher and catcher can just really take everything off the rails as it did in Jamestown. And that's an outside strike, too. That meeting proving important here. Leach, the 1-2 is fouled off. Zach Banks stays alive. Americans lead the Red Wings 8-2 in this bottom of the 8th. 10 hits to 5 as well. And Banks is going to send that Wings way at second. Out number 1 on the 4-3 ground out. A hard hit grounder is picked up cleanly by Ian Huang for the first out. Fogg up next. Chase Fogg, the shortstop tonight. Up with 1 down and nobody on. First pitch from Leach is going to be inside near the shoulders of the batter Fogg for ball 1. So count in Fogg's favor early here against Robert. That's going to be a hard hit fly ball into right field foul territory. Coors chasing it down, and he will make the grab for out number 2. Evan Core with some great range out in right field. Also has a cannon for an arm. Aiken Santana up next. Aiken Santana, the righty, playing first base tonight. He's played a lot of third as well. It's ball 1 to him from Leach, who's looking to have a clean 8th inning after getting out of a tricky jam in the 7th. Now the count even at 1. Leach had the bases loaded in the 7th inning and a Houdini-like save. No runs allowed in the, or rather just 1. My apologies, but still a very impressive feat for Robert Leach. The Red Wings were hoping for much, much more. 2-1 count. And a check swing. They will say he did not go around. It's 3-1 to the batter Santana. Third due up in this inning. This top of the order has led off 3 different innings in this game, and that'll get in there for strike 2 on the inside part of the zone. Robert Leach knows that's been a popular strike call tonight. Now the full count. Payoff pitch from Leach. Swing and a miss. Robert Leach with another strikeout. That'll end inning number 8 here at McDonough Park. Americans looking to add even more insurance in the top of the 9th when we're back.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
John McGowan headed into his 2nd inning of work here in the top of the 9th. The Americans will be bringing up Dalton Harper, Ian Wang, and Graydon Miller to face him. Here's Harper. This 9th inning here on the Americans Baseball Network is sponsored by Casella, Solino Plumbing, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Wright Beverages. It's strike 1 down the pike from McGowan to Harper. Dalton Harper has reached base twice tonight, or rather 3 times, was walked twice, or walked once and got hit twice. It's 1-1 to Harper. Got a piece of that one right behind the dish to make it 1-2. Dalton looking for his first hit of the night despite plenty of time on the base paths. McGowan up in the count. And it'll be inside and low to even things up on Harper. Harper DHing for the first time this season, has seen time at catcher, first base, even the EH spot, but not the DH spot. 2-2 to Dalton. Came into this game batting .250 with a .763 OPS. He's going through the MLB draft process, not quite as much scouts watching him as Matt Barr, but went to the Angels tryout with Matt. The 2-2 on the way in just a moment from John McGowan. He delivers, and it's a chopper sent to Madrid at third. The throw across the field is in time for out number 1. Dalton Harper retired for the second time tonight after reaching base his first 3 times up. Ian Huang will bat next, 2 for 3, with a pair of RBIs on a bases clearing hit, the third run coming in on an error. Huang reached second on that knock, got credit for the single and advance. And it is his second multi-hit game of the year. That first one was the 4-for-5 game in Batavia. Hot as his bat has been since then is tonight in Geneva. Quite the night for Ian. And that'll drop down to even up the count. One's across the board on Huang. The breaking ball by McGowan drops too low. That's fouled off for strike 2. John McGowan, product of Trinity in Texas. It's a Division III school, dominant football program, not quite the same level in baseball, but a couple players from Texas on this team, as it's an outside ball to even up the count. Also a couple players on this team from Trinity of Florida. That's an NCCAA school, but not to be confused with the Texan McGowan. Count is even on Ian Huang. That is outside to fill things up. Huang spent his freshman year at Niagara University, and a night like this is going to be great for his chances in the transfer portal. He's going to drive that into right field for the base hit. Gets past Casey Burkroff on the hard hit ball, and he's the first base runner here in this 9th inning. 11th hit of the day for Niagara Falls is the 3rd of the day for Ian. Graydon Miller up next, 0 for 3 with a walk. Going to advance Ian Huang. Graydon, 11 RBIs on the year. Inside for the ball from McGowan. And almost all of McGowan's pitches have been straight on, but just different parts of the plate. A couple breaking balls that have dropped as he attempts to get his hitters to chase. That'll be an inside ball 2 at the knees of Graydon. Brady Bowles in the on-deck circle. .3-0 count. It's been consecutive balls by the hurler McGowan, trying to avoid the 4-pitch walk that would put 2 ducks on the pond for Brady. Instead, it'll hit Graydon on the knee. He's hopping around, taking off his ankle pads and taking first base. He's hobbling a little bit. We hope he's all right. But it's runners on first and second. Miller now able to jog. Seems to be all right. Handing his stuff to Derek Jesmondi, who's getting his turn as the first base coach. Players who aren't playing that day for the Americans have kind of rotated in that spot, while Will Cordero has been the man at third base most of the year. Paul Wolf also on the coaching staff, but splitting time with the Buffalo Diesel as well as a day job. That is lined foul by Brady for strike one. Brady Bowles, the third baseman for the Americans, is 0 for 3, 3 strikeouts and a walk. So he's yet to make contact in fair territory. Did get on base, but that came on the 4-ball count. And a bit of a motion towards a swing, but it'll be inside to make it ones across the board on Bowles. Bowles, the first of 2 Panola hitters in this Americans order. Chris Gazaldo, also from Panola, has the day off. Pitch from McGowan, inside to make it 2-1. Runners have a lead. Miller at first and Huang at second. And that's going to be a high fly ball in foul territory, right field. Freeman coming in to make the grab for out number 2. And Miller holding at first, but Ian Huang will take off for third. It's runners on the corners for Alan Ramos. Ramos 1 for 4 today. Has Huang in scoring position with 2 down. A big knock could even get Miller home, but Ramos has been more of a singles guy thus far. And that'll get in there for strike 1, right down the pike, a little bit low, but catches that low edge of the zone. McGowan looking to get his final out of this 9th inning. Big cut and miss. Ramos has had a hard time handling McGowan's stuff all day long. Top of the order got to him. But Ramos and Matei were the first 2 outs of his 8th inning. It's an outside ball 1. With runners on the corners in this top of the 9th, the Americans looking to add to their 6-run lead. Just be extra cautious headed into this bottom of the 9th. We'll have to see who they will put on the bump as well. Could be a 3rd inning of Leach to save their other arms. A foul by Ramos to stay alive in the at-bat. Tommy Matei on deck. But Ramos has to get on and hopefully advance these runners. Send Huang home. The pitch will go outside to even up the count, rather. McGowan. 2s across the board to Alan Ramos. It's inside to fill things up on Allen. A walk would load the bases for Tommy Matei. Matei already has 1 hit today. Would be a big time to have his 2nd if Ramos gets on with a walk here. But McGowan still a good chance for the strikeout as well. He's gotten out Alan Ramos to cut and miss a couple of times over these first 2 at-bats against Ramos. Here's the payoff pitch. It's going to be driven up the middle for the base hit. And easily, Ian Huang going to score. Graydon Miller going to get into 3rd. It's still runners on the corners, and the Americans now up 9-2. And at this point, this game will go 9 full innings as we're in the top of the 9th. But the Americans could win by 10 anyways. That winning run is at the plate, but a foul off for strike 1 by Tommy Matei. Even if the Americans take the 10-run lead here, the Red Wings would still get a shot in the bottom of the 9th, but first, Mathey has to get on. Count is even on him. Americans have scored 3 on McGowan now. It's 2-1 to Tommy. Originally from Michigan. Down at Panola College. The 2-1 pitch is going to be low and away. The 3-1 count. But they could walk and load the bases right here, but instead swings and misses on strike 2. Had the green light on the 3-1 pitch. Fills up the count again. It's the second consecutive full count on John McGowan. If Mathey can get on here, this would at least tire out McGowan before Grant Moore comes up. And there is the outside ball for bases are loaded for none other than Grant Moore. 1 for 3 with 2 walks. Nowhere to put Grant. One of the best hitters in the entire league. Won PGCBL Player of the Week in Week 1 and has just kept it going since. With the bases juiced, so many opportunities here, but strike 1 finds the edge of the righty batter's box. Grant Moore with a big RBI chance. Now takes the ball outside. Even a walk would drive in a run here. Moore has 1 RBI on the day and 14 on the season. Count is even. Another outside ball to put this in Moore's hands. It's his 6th time up to the plate. So 6th time through the Americans' order in just a 9-inning ball game. That'll get in there to even things up. 2s across the board on Grant Moore. Big moment for him, arguably one of the bigger ones this season. It's a full count on him. I mean, 7 runs of insurance, lower the stakes just a little bit for Grant Moore, but still a big opportunity to just put this game fully out of reach. It's fouled off. Runners were going, but going to have to head back on the foul ball to keep this count full. Americans have 12 hits, 2 of which have come in this inning. Also some free bags taken. And that's going to be driven up the middle for the base hit. It gets past the shortstop, Fogg. 1 run scores, a second one coming in. The Americans now lead 11-2 with runners on the corners. Grant Moore, RBIs number 15 and 16 of the season on the 13th hit of the day. Grant Moore has reached base 4 times out of 6. An excellent day for him. Evan Core up next. Has reached base his last 2 times up, looking to make it 3 in a row and keep this going. Start to chase that score that the Americans had in 7 innings the last time they played these Red Wings. Evan Core represents the 14th potential run for the Americans. That'll get in there down the pike for strike 1 on Evan. Core came in batting .333. It'll go down just a bit with his 0 for 3 day thus far, but 2 walks to keep the on-base percentage as high as ever. 0-2 on Core. A swing and miss on the second strike. And the sidearmer McGowan delivers on the 0-2. Moore is going to send it to the second baseman Berkeroff. It'll be in time for out number 3. So the Americans add 3 more runs in this 9th inning. They have 9 total runs of insurance headed into the bottom of the inning. We'll see if Robert Leach comes back out to finish the game. We'll be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty.
Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Bottom of the ninth here on the Americans Baseball Network. Robert Leach still in. He'll have Michael Lucci, Zane Barron, and Dylan Briggs to handle here in this final inning of the game. Looking to complete the long save here after relieving Blandino through 6. He'll get in there on the inside corner for strike 1. Michael Ucci, the right-handed hitter, is 0 for 2 on the night with a walk. Came around to score when he got on. That'll be in the dirt to even up the count. Outside part of the plate as well. Robert Leach with the count even on Ucci. He'll get in there. Similar spot for strike 2. That inside corner has been a known strike area for this home plate umpire, and Leach has taken full advantage all 3 of his innings. The 1-2 pitch on Ucci. And it's a back and forth battle. Outside balls and inside strikes alternating by Leach. See if he can finish it with strike 3 right here. The 2-2 is going to be grounded right to Ramos at short. The throw in time for out number 1. Miller will make the tag. 1 down, nobody on as Zane Barron comes up to bat for the Red Wings. Zane Barron is 1 for 3 today. Will improve upon his .211 batting average coming in. The catcher tonight for the Red Wings will line it foul down the first base line. Will drop near the batting cages here at McDonough. 0-1 with 1 down for Robert Leach. Looking to end things right here with a potential 1-2-3 inning. But now it's 1s across the board after the miss low. Makes it 2-1. And it's another inside ball to put the count well in the favor of Zane Barron. Leach hoping to avoid traffic and get out of this one cleanly. It's a foul tip to fill up the count. That'll help Leach. Count is full. Pitch from Leach is going to be low and outside for ball 4. Dylan Briggs will be up next with 1 on and 1 out. Robert Leach looking to complete the long save, but has a runner on here in this bottom of the inning. Dylan Briggs 1 for 2 with a walk. Tough customer to face Leach. This bat has been especially hot tonight. First pitch will be popped up down to first base foul territory. Miller chasing it down. It'll drop too far for him. Strike one. Miller was looking to avoid that fence. It's been a popular reason for foul balls dropping tonight. And Leach delivers on the 0-1 inside to make it ones across the board. Leach checking back. Now the runner taking off. Defensive indifference will allow Zane Barron to get to second base on ball 2. Count now in the favor of Briggs, and Barron was headed towards third, but the foul ball going to send him back. It's 2-2. Zane Barron, a lot of speed for a catcher. Count is even with one down. Leach checking back on Barron at second. He has a bigger and bigger lead. He's playing a game of chicken here with Robert Leach. Leach fakes the throw, and that'll force Barron to hurry back. Barron with a big lead again. The pitch is going to be lined right into the glove of Graydon Miller for out number 2. Graydon Miller with a nice catch. Couldn't track down the foul ball, but gets one in fair territory. It's 2 down, and Braden Freeman up next. Freeman came in as a defensive substitution for Elijah Benton. 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. And 1 out away from this game being over. Robert Leach looking to end it right here. It's fouled down the third base line for strike 1. Be sure to come to the barber shop or tune in here on the broadcast for $2 beer night, Americans and Ironbacks at Sal Magley. First pitch at 6:30 tomorrow night. We'll have Avery Vogt back here on the broadcast, our color commentator, making his return after some days on public address, but it'll all be right here on the Americans Baseball Network. $2 beer night at the ballpark. Braden Freeman, after Leach checks on second, will drive it into right center field. It'll drop for the base hit. And Barron going to come around to score with ease. The Red Wings put a run on the board in this bottom of the 9th. Robert Leach giving up his second run in 3 innings. And that out number 3 will have to wait as Casey Burcroft comes up with a runner on first. And that'll be a fly ball into right field. Core coming under that one for out number 3. That'll be the ball game. Final score from McDonough Park. Americans 11, Red Wings 3. The Americans have won 5 games in a row, looking to make it 6 tomorrow night against the Ironbacks. First pitch at 6:30. It's the final time the Americans will host the Ironbacks. But for now, this has been it here on the Americans Baseball Network. Americans win their 5th in a row. I've been your play-by-play broadcaster, Andrew Roberts. We'll have Avery Vogt back on the broadcast tomorrow, so be sure to tune in or come to the park for $2 beer night. For now, thank you all for tuning in. Final score from Geneva, Americans 11, Red Wings 3. Thank you so much.